it been a few hours, but it felt like days. Only been days, but it felt like months. Been gone for a year, only roll like once. Life moves fast when you do what you want.
Before I say my wild statement, I'll save it for later.
So we've been talking and we've been discussing about choosing.
We're back.
How's my makeup? No,
We've been talking about, and we're going to let stay. I'm not editing that out. We've been obviously discussing choosing the right partner. And Tyrese have had history, maybe he's more recently choosing people that may not necessarily been for him. Mm-hmm. We've learned while on commercial that in his previous relationship, his first mother of his child, mm-hmm. that it kind of ended abruptly, and there was some custodial battles and there was some hardships faced when going through that. Yeah. And that sucks. You know what I'm saying? When you be with someone that y'all create life, mm-hmm. and then when y'all separate, you can't come to terms on how to raise a child, because ultimately you got to do what's best for the child. And I think sometimes adults get lost in their own agendas, mm-hmm. and or how they feel about the other parent, that it no longer becomes about the kid. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You can't be around my kid because I don't like you, or this is my son, or this is my daughter, and you just like. Now, adults go through shit. Shit happens in relationships. Yeah. We're not saying they don't. But the kids or the child should not have to suffer because adults can't be mature. This is why things like child support are in place. Right. Mm-hmm. This is things why like custody is in place, because adults cannot be mutual, or one adult just has that gumption, or they just feel like they want to be spiteful and say, hey, I'm going to put them on child support, or I'm going to get alimony if you're a guy. Mm-hmm. Shit like that. You know what I'm saying? It works both ways. So we've been talking about, like I said, choosing the right partner, and that's super important. You have situations where sometimes people gaslighting you too, to be manipulative, to get you to do things that they want you to do, and people put out narratives about you. Yeah, mm-hmm. And you got one side saying all this about you, and no leader you this, and no leader you that, and why is you this, and why is you that, and you just like you're not even addressing it. So now people maybe even believe in it. Yeah, right. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I want to get into the part where maybe Tyrese went, because of his previous relationship, mm-hmm. he may have chosen to be with Samantha from a place of brokenness. Right. Like, I'm vulnerable, right? Right. I may have done it in my life before. Like, I broke up with somebody, now I want to feel whole again, or I want to feel like a man again. Let me fall into the lap of the next woman that says something nice to me.
I got engaged because I was broken and trying to prove to my ex that you ain't want to marry me, so I done met this person and they say they want to marry me. Whole time I'm like, I don't want to marry this nigga.
We're gonna talk about that. Talk about that. I hate you. So, speaking to the mic, you
said, talk about this haste.
So coming out of a almost 3-year relationship with somebody where I just didn't feel validated in any way, shape, form, or fashion. He took on a lot of the habits from Iceberg Slim from the book Pimp. Yeah. Like a lot of things in there about not complimenting women and stuff like that. He always trying to like lower over masculine. So finally left that relationship and quickly went into a new relationship. We talked over the phone for like 2 months. He was like, I want you to move back to Texas. Move back. By February, I was engaged. And then, he was really pressing me to go to the courthouse. But it was all stemming from the fact that I had spent so much time in the previous relationship trying to almost audition or prove that, okay, I should be a wife. You should see me and value me as a wife. Mm-hmm. And then now I have to leave, and there's this new person that's coming and telling me everything that I want to hear. And it's happening very quickly. And like we said, everything is very concentrated. Right. So it's like I didn't get to heal. So it's like that can happen where you move from one thing to the next, and that person saying the right things or the things that you just didn't hear the last time. Right. Oh, your ears going to tune in for sure.
Right. And so Tyrese's previous situation, that's the one with the baby mama who was, he had went fast and furious, waist deep. Literally.
Baby boy. Literally and figuratively.
What's up?
Snot, waist
deep. Crazy with it. And then she turned around and put the full court press on him.
Drug that man.
And then he got out of that situation. And then hastily we feel, this is what we feel like. We don't know the real time.
Allegedly.
But this is what we think. Hastily pop the question
Yes.
to somebody in 3 days, and
Because you don't just let go of those feelings that you want the love, that you want the
Facts.
family and the marriage. Those
Facts.
feelings, those needs that your heart has, they live there. You've been feeding them. Your emotions have been feeding them. So just because you don't have a source to feed it for a period of time, and then you come in contact with somebody who can pour into that, you got to discern, why are you pouring into that? Do you see that on me and you're playing on my vulnerability so that you can get what you want out of
predator.
me? That part.
Yeah, emotional predator. And basically what she just broke down in relationship forms is a daddy issue. You everything that you were looking for in a man, this guy showed up because you were neglected from it in your last relationship. He showed it up and said, "Hey, here you go, right here." Yeah. So we gonna get married or what?
That part.
You know
that
what I'm
part.
saying? You got some
For
nice
sure.
teeth.
I want my babies to have those teeth.
Exactly. So now you pushing the program. Like you pushing. I know where your vulnerability is. So now I'm gonna penetrate that. Pause.
Exactly.
So it's just one of those situations where it was an emotional predator. It's like they was predatory. It's just like a child molester seeing a kid like they're standing by themselves and like, oh shit, bingo, that's the one right there. Like you know what I'm saying? I know people just in general who are just emotionally prone to be in situations where people attempt to take advantage of them. I don't know what it is. I don't know what they give off.
Sometimes they share too much up front. So I think sometimes when you begin dating someone and the bulk of your conversation should not be about this nigga didn't do this, he didn't do that, because that you giving somebody a playbook on what you didn't have and how they can give you the bare minimum, and then now you done bought into it. So I think sometimes people open themselves up to it because you don't know what else to talk about. You don't know how else to connect with somebody to the point of like the trauma bonds. You're just talking about how somebody did you wrong all the time.
I ain't had this. He didn't do that. My last relationship was
I can do that.
And if you do enough of that, the guy or they will
take that
do the exact opposite. Take advantage, like you said, and be an emotional predator in that situation.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? And prey on someone, you know, who may be in that state. And maybe that was the role Samantha played in Tyrese's life. You know what I'm saying? Because the way she described it, she was just so excited about getting married.
Imagine
and being regular.
Imagine the one up that she had, being that he's a public figure and she knew his business already.
That part.
He didn't even have to tell her.
So she can, they study.
So that's like a distance. You know what? Chad Ochocinco, the Chad Johnson, the wide receiver, he talks about that type of stuff all the time. As far as like, he ain't got a court a woman in that way because they can look him up on the internet. So they know everything about you. It's really up to the man and I guess public figures to discern exactly who's right for them. I would hate to be in that position though. You know what I'm saying? Because you literally in a state of boundary, but you want to love too. You know what I'm saying? It's like you want to open up and you want to be vulnerable. But at the same time, is this person really here for that? Or they looking to get that clout chasing, or they trying to get their views up?
Y'all know, what's his name? Primetime. What's his real
name?
Deion Sanders. So remember he brought old girl to speak to the football players, the team?
I see that.
I can't think of the name, but I know he had a girl.
Yeah, Brittany
Renner.
Yeah.
So
the reason why he brought her is because he wanted them to understand these women research y'all, they study y'all, they follow y'all habits. So to your point,
I do remember that now.
Living for one at a certain level, you're going to have your life out there because it's just a profession that you're in, whether it's being an athlete or it's acting or whatever. But even beyond that, we got social media now where now they can go beyond your red carpet moment and your championship and movie premiere. They watching your stories every day.
They put up YouTube
everything.
Clips.
So was this planned by Samantha, y'all think, to get with Tyrese?
It could have been.
I don't put it past it.
Yeah, I don't put it past it.
Because it's something about that mention of her being regular. It's like I feel like that's what she really wanted to sell herself on.
Yes.
Like, I'm different. I don't be at the club. And it's like
right, and then you showing me as a man, you come through and you showing me a little different. Oh, you smarter than the other girls.
I'm gonna keep a job.
Oh, you got a real opinion about certain stuff. Like,
I'm not gonna quit my job. I'm gonna keep a job.
You got your own career. Oh, okay. All right.
You ain't like the others.
Yeah.
You ain't leeching. So
and you gave me some first date.
That's always gonna be a sell. Okay, so it's gonna be a quick buy-in.
Having sex or casual sex. So, what I want to call it casual, but having sex early on in a relationship. I mean, is that a bad thing?
I don't think so.
I mean,
honestly, it's a bad thing. It's a bad thing when there is because it's a toss up. Okay. Granted, it could be consensual.
Toss up.
This, that, and the third, but it's definitely a toss up because you can continue to be with the person after y'all can have a first night. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then y'all continue to be with the person, or y'all can wait 8 months, do it, and then be like, I don't even like her no more. Like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily a bad thing, to be completely honest. It just kind of depends on the situation, the chemistry in the two people that they have. And now, if they just have it, and then he disappear or she disappear, because women, there goes through. Yeah, probably if it was trash, but anyway. I don't know. It kind of depends, because I feel like if the situation dissolves after the sex, it was never going to be a situation.
Like if sex is the only thing.
Yeah.
I feel like it's you damned if you do, you damned if you don't. Yeah. Because sometimes when you do have sex early, that comfortability came from a false sense of connection. And we so bonded and this, that, and the third. But then you do it, and then on the flip side, you quickly learn none of that was real.
None of it was real.
Or you can wait the 8 months, and then you can have the emotional investment, and you do it. So now you dealing with, I spent the time, the emotional investment, and I gave you the skins. And
none of it was real.
So in that same realm, does a woman in that situation know, Lita, after she has given her body, right, invested that time, does she feel more almost obligated to try to make it work in a way?
From experience, I have felt that way.
So a woman like, after she didn't let the guy hooked up a little bit, and it was casual, consensual, however you want to qualify it. And then it kind of became a regular thing.
Because you spend that time building emotionally, and you don't think that you would be finding yourself saying, "Is it really in?" You don't think that.
Whoa,
you don't think that.
Wait a minute.
You don't think that, but the emotional investment is there.
Oh, emotional.
You know what I'm saying?
She's talking about the emotion is.
No. I meant what I said.
Oh, the emotion is in. Oh, okay.
So like you've emotionally invested, and then you do that, and it's like, okay, well, I got love for this person. We got these memories. Yeah. Is sex really all that much? Yeah. I'm in my 30s. By 50, we probably not gonna be doing nothing. So can I deal with 12 years of bad sex? These are the things that you weigh. These are the things that you weigh.
Man, that's tough. That's tough. I could do 12 years of bad sex.
She want that fire. She want that fire. Holler at Lil Water if you want that.
Holler at Lil Water if you want that fire. You so
sick. Oh man. So look, y'all. Hey, y'all been rolling. So I gotta. Hey man, I'm prepared today.
Come on.
I feel almost over.
It's the first time for everything.
I'm giving myself my own flowers.
Come on.
But so like you hear this all the time in a situation like this. Stop cheating, man. You know, back in the day, you would do your test like this.
You need a privacy screen.
Nah, it's all good. So one of the things that jump out to me in situations like this, not just Samantha, just in general relationship, is accountability.
Yeah.
And accountability, and what does that actually look like in this situation? Because people say it all the time. You need to be accountable, or women don't like to be accountable. I put some up on Instagram on the Humble Pie page that that y'all just love to skip over, but we gonna talk about it. And women didn't respond. They don't respond unless you talking to them face to face like this. Yeah. Now we not saying one woman answer is the answer, but men, at least I feel, yes, women have a difficult time being accountable because in mostly like relationship situations, men are constantly in that proven phase. Like, I gotta keep your attention, I gotta make sure this, I gotta court you, I gotta be chivalrous, I gotta do all of it. And a woman is just this on this receiving end of things, because she has this inherited value. Right. So when it's time to be accountable, she's like, well, I've done everything. I cook, I clean, I give you some. And he like, well, when the last time you said something nice to me?
But that's because a lot of women are not.
Well, when the last time you said something nice to me?
And that's the thing. They're not taught to do more or to have more value, right? They're not taught to have more meat on their sandwich.
Oh. What kind of sandwich?
You so silly. Because some women are raises young girls just to think that the total essence of your womanhood is you make sure that you look good, you keep your house clean, you take care of your kids, and then you have sex. There's no push to have intellectual connection. There's no push to be emotionally mature and to be a safe space. Like, those are just things that certain parents don't know how to give to their girls as they're becoming women. So it's like, yeah, they come into adulthood and they like, well, that's what my mama did.
Right.
And my daddy came home every night. But you don't know that they probably sleeping back to back. Because he doesn't feel that he has a real connection. He doesn't feel like he has somebody that's truly invested in him beyond just doing the bare minimum.
Right.
So is that what accountability looks like? Because that's what I wanted to know. What does it look like? Because that's a great point. Like, a woman is not really taught, and everything almost always comes back to how you were being raised,
and what you show your
and
kids,
what you saw growing up.
Yeah. Because so to me, with the accountability, well, let me go back to you said it's based off of how you were raised or whatever.
Yeah.
So there is also some things that we just weren't raised to do, but it's just so ingrained in our environments that's just what we feel like it's supposed to be. Because we weren't necessarily raised to say, I know I wasn't, and most of the people that I was around weren't necessarily raised to say, hey, you hold a woman to a certain value. Or you make sure you hold the woman up and praise them. But that's just what we felt like that was the thing to do, because environmentally, that's what we've been groomed to do. It's on TV, it's just around, you pay attention to other people in their situations, and they talk to their friends and you just observing. That's what we've observed, so that's kind of what we do. But it also comes up to a thing of decision making as a man or a woman. Once you get to a certain age, your own decision making comes into play. So you start to decide whether you want to be a certain kind of person in a relationship. If you want to be toxic, or be overly masculine, or be a manipulator, or all this other shit. But that just goes with just growing up, period. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Your parents can only raise you so far. At some point, it got to click in and say, oh, okay, this is what makes sense to me to do, or whatever the case may be. But anyway, my real point that I wanted to get to.
Oh, that wasn't your point.
No, that wasn't my point.
Yeah.
Accountability. Yeah. I think the accountability starts with being that everything is so environmentally what we've been ingrained. You can look on Facebook and you see a woman who's made a horrible decision with her clothes, right? Got some wild shit on. I'm talking about had a little fake photo shoot with cuz and them, stomach out, the wrong shorts. Everything ain't looking right. Guess what they are accountability partners in the comments saying? You go, girl.
Yes, girl.
Them ain't stretch mark, them tiger stripes, girl. You a cougar.
As women, when we see that, sometimes we might say she ain't got no real friends.
Yeah. Okay. How many of us have them?
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? How many people
that goes
real
back
friends
to the circle conversation.
Yeah.
These people ain't for you, or they don't want to be accountable for themselves, so they allow you to be up there and chance it instead of saying, hey, yo, I don't think that's the picture you should have put up, because the stomach ain't, or you should have put the smiley face on the stomach this time.
Right.
Or, you know what I'm saying? Maybe not the thong, at the kids' pool party.
I thought that, a few months ago, I went out and it was a party. Clearly, I didn't know it was going to be these young people or whatever. But it was a girl she had on the top, and the top had collapsed in between her breasts. Now, her friends are guiding her.
So she dangling.
No. Her friends are literally holding her hand, guiding her through the crowd. And I'm like, y'all are turning back and looking at her. Yes, y'all are drunk, but I'm going to see that my homegirl breasts are out.
So she was walking by herself, and her titties was out?
Her friend, you know how girls hold their hands and walk through the crowd or whatever. And they're like, come on, girl. And I'm like, they right there. But I thought that to myself. I was like, them not her real friends.
Them ain't your real friends. But we see it so much. We see it so much, it make it hard for, just say, if we just speaking on women, it make it hard for a woman who's still trying to maybe strive for a certain place in their life, or, you know, some people just don't get it right. You know what I'm saying? I kind of, you know, I try not to judge people, because some people, like, I look and I'm like, okay, you got the right idea, but your execution is bad. Like, you know what I'm saying? Tweak. You just need some tweaking. And it's just like, sometimes you might have lost that weight and you want to throw that little belly top on, but it ain't time yet. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta wait your season.
You got a little, you know what I'm saying? You got a little Dunlap syndrome. Your belly done lapped over your belt.
Why?
I did not see that coming.
The thing is, you post the picture, and your friends, your cousin, your sister, the thirsty nigga that from 3rd grade that been trying to smash since you was cute.
Right.
Because you ain't cute no more.
They're talking to himself in the DMs.
They in that comment section like, oh yeah, you go girl, you snap with this one, go kill him. And that to me is just a small part of being just like accountable, or trying to be accountable to of your people. Like if V's going a wild rant, I should be able to say, hey bro, you was kind of wilding on that. You might want to take that down.
Are you okay?
Like, is you good? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is me holding him accountable. So next time when he is ready to go on that rant, he might record it, but he won't post it. You know what I'm saying? Because now he's holding himself accountable. And granted, V's brought it up about women, but niggas don't hold themselves accountable. You know what I'm saying? But I can say one thing. We don't give a fuck. That's why we don't hold ourselves accountable. But more so, it's not necessarily that we don't give a fuck. We don't give a fuck because a lot of y'all don't give a fuck. So when a lot of y'all start to give a fuck about certain things, men in general start to care about certain things. If when man purses came in, since y'all said it was cool, niggas start wearing purses.
Got that merce on.
They got that merce on. But what you got in there? You ain't got nothing but ID. What's in there? Your car keys? You know, so it's just one of those. It just becomes a revolving circle to me with the accountability thing. Some people who just don't have the mental capacity to look at themselves in the mirror and say, "Oh no, this ain't right." They just don't got it. They never was raised like that. They never picked that up later on, regardless of whether they was raised like that or not. And I just think that they don't got it, whether it's male or female, because I don't want it to seem like we female bashing. We know how VC is. He will bash a female in a minute, but y'all know me.
Y'all really think I'm gonna let that happen?
I love the women.
Absolutely.
Right?
Check this out. So I kind of disagree with you a little bit, Wise. I feel like a man's life is full of accountability. Like, we live that way. Like, we have to answer and respond to what we do, what we don't do, why we not at this certain status. Like, we shoulder that. Like, we wear that.
In certain aspects.
I wouldn't say like everything, but I'm just saying our lives are full of it. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's not as, I guess, difficult for a man to admit he was wrong, or I could have did that differently, or I made decisions for the family that probably wasn't the best decision.
Right.
Baby, how you think we should do it next time?
Who are we going to admit that we was wrong to?
Your partner.
Because she's doing what? Holding you accountable. But if she don't, I don't give a fuck. I did me. That's how some niggas is.
And that's why some men operate like that, because they are in relationships with women, or they do have friends who will not speak up on that.
And you got niggas who don't give a fuck about going to get a job because they don't have a woman in their life to say, hey, you need to go get a fucking job. I'm not finna support you no more.
Baby boy and his friend, he was like, why you ain't give me a job? He should have held him accountable.
Man.
I gotta get you a job.
You say you love me. Bought me this game.
Supposed to be my brother's keeper. Help me out with your business.
His girl was not holding him accountable.
But and those things, see, a man's world is held accountable when we are pushed to hold accountable. If you ain't because you got to think, every man ain't a real man. So a lot of men need that push to say, hey man, you need to go do this. Hey man, don't do that. You know, whether it's from their woman, whether it's from the homie, whether it's from their brother, whether it's from their daddy, their mama, or whatever the case may be. A lot of these niggas is suckers out here. They raised by women and they act like women. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of whether they call themselves extra. See, it's a thing with me. When I see dudes become overly masculine, it looks emotional to me. It looks feminine
emotional
to
deficit.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks extremely feminine to me. Like all that crying and whining and I ain't holding no door for no woman. A bitch can't do nothing for me. And all this other shit. No. That sounds feminine because you sound emotional right now.
Why don't you like me?
You're caring about the wrong things as a man. As a man, you're supposed to be caring about being accountable.
Yeah. I think society has created that men versus women mentality. When in all actuality, we supposed to work in cohesion, and cooperatively.
We can't exist without each other.
Exactly, but it's like, you don't do this and you don't do that, and now we send a rants on Facebook
and ain't nobody doing nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
We're confused about cohesion.
Yeah, it's like this is why things like co-parenting exist. You're supposed to work cooperatively as a parent. I mean, that's the basis and the root of the word. You know what I'm saying? We get into those situations, like you said, your homegirl need to hold you accountable. If you ranting on Facebook, if you saying X, Y, and Z, and you niggas ain't shit every other post, what does that say about you?
What does that say about you?
And then the people that you are choosing to be around.
Yeah.
Everybody just rah-rah and agree with everything you said, which makes a person feel almost justified in what they said and in their actions.
Yeah.
So accountability, I mean, we could talk about that. I know I can the rest of the day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think it's something you have to grow into and continue to evolve in as an adult.
It's
not something you just say, I'm accountable. I stole $100 from the bank. And you come and admit that. You know, like that's not really what accountability is.
Right, accountable is just never stealing $100 in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. Like owning up your shit. Like you're in. How can you grow and improve? Go ahead.
But you got to get to a point of wanting to first have that conversation with yourself. You know how many people walk past mirrors and won't even look in it because they can't stand the sight of themselves?
When was the last time you looked in the mirror?
Literally.
And not for your reflection.
Literally. And had a thought process about how you're showing up in the world, because if you can't even talk to yourself or self-examine yourself, you never gonna hear nobody else. And you're not gonna surround yourself because you with you all the time.
Yeah.
Like, who
hey, them the same people that hate to be alone. So they get out of one relationship and they jump to the next one. Shout out to Tyrese.
Because misery loves company.
Bars.
It's just one of those things. Last segment, y'all. And I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all like this video. Comment if you are accountable or not. How about that?
Ooh.
How about we get a poll going, men versus women? We need to know who are more accountable, men or the women. We need to know that. You know what I'm saying? Share this video.
Who you think more accountable? You say men, right?
I feel like men, we're definitely, we live in a state of accountability. I feel like we live in that space. Like, I don't have to say, hey, like, I don't have to encourage you to do the right thing or tell you that you're veering off the path more often than not. Because men, we kind of self-check. Like Nolita was saying, like, when last time a person looked in the mirror? And I had broke this on Threads. I got a Threads account. Follow me, Beach Jones on Threads. When was the last time you looked in the mirror, but not for your reflection?
Right.
Meaning, when did you last time self-check yourself? Because I honestly feel like self-improvement never gets old.
Yeah.
Like, that's something that you can continuously evolve. Nobody's going to be perfect. We're not preaching being this perfect individual. What I like to preach is just growth. Meaning the individual that you were today, a year from now, let's be 1% better, 2% better than that individual. Because that shit just not going to happen overnight. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I talk about, like, trying to be accountable. I feel like the brother, I feel like the guys, you know what I'm saying? We live in a state of accountability, bro.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think we should. See, men live in a state of accountability. A lot of males don't, though.
Oh, okay.
So
you just say that.
Yeah. So it's we should be living in it, but a lot of these niggas ain't real men out here.
Yeah, because we get on them suckers. Last section.
Yes.
Last segment. It's also a new segment.
Oh
shit.
Because what I'm saying,
hot off the press.
Like I said, I've been trying to make things more engaging, get you guys involved in what we're doing here. Give you some things to look forward to from episode to episode. You got your favorite neighborhood rich auntie. Hey. You got the big ism Wallow over here. I gave him that nickname, the big isms, because he always got the isms. You know what I'm saying? Always got the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Pause, bro. I like girls, you like girls, bro. Dang, chill, bro. That's what mom said. That's the problem. That's the problem, brothers. We don't know how to, finesse each other and be nice. You know what I'm saying?
Give him his flowers.
You know what I'm saying? But so I'm gonna try to keep this brief. I don't know, but last segment is called "Keeping It Real." That's REEL, keeping it real. So this segment or this reel, this part of episode would be talking about the Will and Jada situation.
Okay.
I know we talked about the Samantha and Tyrese situation, but I want to get into some things, reels y'all seen or memes y'all seen in regards to the situation. So just to get the conversation started, I'm gonna shoot over to the rich auntie. In this situation, is Will considered collateral damage? Like, is he the punching bag?
God damn, collateral damage is gangster.
You know?
Shit.
I would say he is. What is the one where they do like that?
Speed bag.
Speed bag. I think he's more of a speed bag.
Oh.
So as long as you got your rhythm, that speed bag gonna keep taking it. But you skip a beat, you gonna catch something.
Right.
So I think she probably caught a couple. I think she probably caught a couple, and that was his little get back. But I mean, I think he just has a much more committed approach to his covenant, and I think for that, as a man, he will publicly take a lot more L's for her than he would ever set her up to do it, because he knows, like, as a man and still literally as her husband, he's supposed to protect her, regardless of whether they go into another house with somebody else or whatever. He still understands that that's a part of his assignment, so he gonna take that L because he feels like, you know, he can shoulder it a little bit more than she does.
I mean, so in that situation, in this particular case, we know that they've been separated 7 years.
7 years.
But still are legally married because they can't get to that point to say, I don't want to be with you.
And she said now they're working on something. I don't know what the something is.
I just feel like that's unfair to you. You being unfair to yourself if you legitimately, like, not with this person. I get the whole death do you part and better or worse, sickness and health. If that's the case, why come out publicly in this way? Like, whilst they've been known to have an open marriage. And
but
this is how August.
But this is even before the red table talks. This been going on since we was probably kids. We've been hearing this.
But we always held Jada and Will to, like, this highest standard. That's the couple. I know I did. Like, if I get my wife, that's how I want my relationship to look in the public eye. If it ever got to that, you know what I'm saying? This model of what marriage should look like, love and bond and stuff like that. But lo and behold, and every marriage is unique.
Right.
We're not saying, we're not saying they are wrong for having an open marriage, but it appeared that it opened the door to some other things. So while in an open marriage situation, and for those of you who know, open marriage is basically two people coming to the table in marriage and may willingly see other people or invite people into their relationship in whatever way they see fit. It might not just be a sexual way. It can be a lot of different ways. You know what I'm saying? So, Wallace, what you think about open marriage, or what's your knowledge of it, and maybe the good and bad or something like that in a marriage?
I mean, I the only thing okay.
The isms coming.
I'm trying not to wild out.
They coming to the surface, y'all. They coming to the surface. Because
this whole thing with Jada and Will has. I was over it like a while ago. Then she come with the book.
And he got a book. And they all
got a book too.
They both looking the same. Like it's like a 2-for-1 almost. Like
same
it's
irritating. The alopecia diaries.
We keeping it real, y'all. So we talk about it.
I think everybody was over this. Like, and then here she comes disrespecting this man. See, the thing is, at first it was an idea that I think she being real disrespectful to him. But no, maybe it ain't that. And then she comes with the book like, no. I was disrespecting that nigga on purpose.
She pulled a chair up
because
and sat
down. You sat up here and said, when he said wife, I'm like, huh?
Who was that?
Who you calling wife?
All right, goofy.
Mind you, this man put his whole career on the line to go up here and slap
the piss.
Slap the shit out that man.
Slap this man. And there was so many people on the social media saying, oh, Will a real man. This, that, and the third. No. That was an emotional move because he had other shit going on with his household, with his wife at the time or whatever. And that's why he slapped him. It had nothing to do with him and what he said because she don't even give a fuck about alopecia. She's been bald head her whole career.
No, but you're right, because Tommy Davidson, you know, the comedian.
Yeah.
He did an interview talking about how back in the day, Will ran up on him.
Yeah.
So he got a little trend with the emotional outbreaks.
He definitely got a trend with that. First of all, you step into Tommy Davidson and Chris Rock. Tommy Davidson is fucking 5'3".
I'm about to say Tommy Davidson is
together.
You this tall.
Together.
And you a quarter water.
Right. Look who he ran. He ran up on Idris Elba. And
like what? Okay.
Idris Elba whooped him. But anyway, back to the whole marriage thing. So I remember back when they had the initial interview with them and the family. But this was before the entanglement interview.
Okay.
And they were saying, like, yo, we living in separate spaces in the house. We ain't even together. He live on one side of the house. I live on one side of the house. And they asked him, like, yo, y'all kind of, they didn't say it exactly that they had an open situation. But they like, nah, we do us, and he do him.
It's like a soft launch.
Yeah. They like, we ain't gonna give you the whole thing. Just a tip. You know what I'm saying? So in my mind, from then, all the way back then, I'm like, oh, nah. That relationship over. Like, to me, they ain't together.
Living like seniors.
Yeah, and not only that, I think that was the same episode that she talked about how she hated the house.
Oh yeah, and how he bought the house.
He bought and built the house for them, and she never wanted to be there, and this, that, and the third. So there's been a lot going on for a long time when it comes to them. Now, I think the benefits of a open relationship is still keeping all your assets together.
Yeah.
Open marriage, assets together. Yeah. The kids are in a situation where both parents are in the same space for the most part. And I think the other benefit for them was the public eye. We can go out in the public eye, still pretend to be that it couple, and then come home, and then you go fuck August Alsina, and then we'll go fuck August Alsina. Go to the back of the book,
Father God.
pay $314 right after the credits, and Jada Book, she gonna say we'll fuck August Alsina.
I mean, she been coming with something every week. I seen
That's coming next.
That's coming next. Enemy, because this is the
because me and Arg went to the back room that one time. And
because this is the Keeping It Real segment of the show, I want to bring up a meme that I saw, and it was funny to me.
I seen the dude start dating the dude about 2 weeks ago.
He said, "Look, that man showed him love in a new way."
Ooh wee.
Well, I think it's time for Will to have some willpower and walk away from the situation. Pun intended. You know what I'm saying?
But this goes back to the benefits of that open marriage. It's like, why walk away when I have my cake and eat it too?
I don't have to leave because I can do this openly and keep my assets.
So, no,
I don't know about that.
What's your thoughts on open marriages? Pros, cons, situations like that?
I'm a only child, so I don't share well. So no, it's just. I mean, I get why some people they have an appetite for certain things, or they may find themselves in who their partner has evolved to, that they're not getting what they need. But I would still need to separate because I don't want the gray area. Like, that's very muddy terrain to be playing in.
I mean, you got to figure they've been married a long time. They've grown and evolved into, I almost say different people. They just grew and evolved into, they wanted to maybe sustain their marriage, and maybe this is where they came at.
But is it really working though? Is it really working though? Because
it seems like it didn't appear to do.
It seems like they having a public pissing contest about who can embarrass one another more. Like. I don't know.
Twizzies.
Is it working? Like, is it working?
Is this really what? Like, especially now.
What's the benefit?
Now that the world knows, do y'all still have to feel obligated to be in the
because they've been saving face this whole time. Like, this shit ain't even been a real thing.
Like,
y'all been front y'all move.
Fucking jumping off planes and fucking swimming with sharks. And
and he was that makes a lot of sense now. Like, to cloud your mind with other shit.
Too much.
You become an adrenaline junkie. You know what I'm saying? Because maybe your heart is hurt. Maybe you want to keep your mind busy, occupied. You know what I'm saying?
And sometimes our generation, or even like Will and Jay's generation, I don't even know if they're part of ours, but people look to our grandfathers and grandmothers in those marriages and say they was married for 30, 40 years, and they put a lot of weight on that, but they don't realize what these people were dealing with in these marriages for 40, 50 years. And that stint where you didn't see your granddaddy for a long time, that's because he was living at somebody's house. Yeah. Or that random baby that's your cousin. That's the milkman that your grandma got pregnant by, and your granddaddy just didn't leave. But that's why he in the garage all the time.
At your warehouse.
And that becomes that conversation versus modern relationships versus traditional.
Because they were private with it, and we're so public. We're putting it out there and talking about our feelings. It's like, should you?
So they have kept that shit in house?
And a lot of times grandma stayed because she had no other choice.
Thank you.
That's true.
No career options. Yeah.
15
resources.
That's tough, granny. I love my granny. Miss me.
Gang shit. Fuck all that lame shit.
We're gonna wrap this up, y'all. I really appreciate this episode, man. I hope y'all was feeling this, you know what I'm saying, the new segment, things like that. I feel like, you know, hopefully our viewers, make sure you send a like, a dislike, a comment, a share,
save
subscribe. You know what I'm saying? We in the 160-ish range. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate the auntie and Big Wallow in the building, man, doing this thing. Our producer who ain't gonna never be on camera, but she here.
We gonna get on camera.
Got some nice glasses too.
We gonna get on camera.
I want to leave y'all with this.
Okay.
Leave our viewers with this a little. It's a quote. It ain't mine.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Enlighten us.
A life spent making mistakes is not only more honorable, but more useful than a life spent doing nothing.
Facts.
So I really like that quote because
like that.
The gist of Humble Pie is about being accountable and taking that slice of pie in life and learning from those mistakes you made.
Right.
So we appreciate y'all for being here. And that's a wrap, man. Y'all stay blessed.
And the last words for Tyrese. You can't go fast and furious, waist deep, and have no baby, boy.
And try to stay. And try to stay.